If HBO's Chernobyl was a series with a new disaster every season, what event would you like to see covered? The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in 1911. 150 died. Most of them young women. Because the doors were locked to prevent workers from taking breaks and inventory, and they couldn't leave the building. This sparked outrage and spurred the development of many work safety standards we have today. Would have been a tragic show, but interesting to see how it changed the safety of work in the West. The owners of the building escaped alive via the roof and were indicted for manslaughter, got off with paying a fine, and then were found to have locked the doors at their next factory as well. Wikipedia, https en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/triangle_shirtwaist_factory_fire. The Kyshtym disaster. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Kyshtym_disaster. Only Chernobyl and Fukushima have ranked as worst incidents, but Kyshtym affected 4x as many people. Because of the secrecy surrounding the facility, nobody was told anything about it until a week later, when soldiers suddenly showed up and started slaughtering all the livestock and burning everything, not telling all the people why they were being rounded up and evacuated. They said it was a special disease. Some other people weren't evacuated for a year or more. I would like the 1917 Canadian blast. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Halifax_explosion. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Halifax_explosion. The largest man-made explosion until nuclear bombs in 1945, not so much for the blast but for the rebuilding and dealing with it. Triangle Shirtwaist fire in 1911. Bhopal. It injured a lot of people, and the series of mistakes that caused it to occur is insane. And #X200B. Costa Concordia. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Costa_Concordia. The mixture of incredibly brave and competent people versus the idiot captain and the spectacular nature. The disaster itself would make for some damn incredible television. I'd love to see lots of different perspectives on it. The Walkerton water tragedy. Please. I lived through it. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Walkerton_E_coli_outbreak #outbreak. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Walkerton_E._coli_outbreak #outbreak. We drank contaminated water for almost a week before they told us the truth. 7 people died, including one of my family members. We were all sick, and no one knew what was happening. The water treatment plant tried to cover it up by pumping chlorine into the wells to hide the contaminated test results. The hospital was flooded with people, and because they were told it couldn't be E. coli, they were treating the wrong illness and actually made it worse. In some cases, the hospital staff were told specifically that the water wasn't the problem, and so they advised us to drink water to help with the sickness. I wish someone would tell our story. On that note, I recommend watching the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on the Hillsborough Stadium disaster. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Hillsborough_disaster. Craig Mazin's Twitter was inundated for a while with Indians asking him to do a series on Bhopal. Halifax explosion. Centralia, Pennsylvania. It's a ghost town because the coal that runs under the city is on fire. It has been for many years. Jonestown. The Great Fire of London. The Exxon Valdez oil spill. There's a series of episodes of American Scandal that almost scratch the surface of the shit that went down. Challenger, the Hartford Circus fire. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Hartford_circus_fire would make a great story. It killed 167 people and injured more than 700 in a place that was supposed to be full of happiness and joy. Because of this famous photograph of sad clown Emmett Kelly WIRH a bucket of water. https i.imager.com/3on5px.jpg. It became known as the day the clowns cried. This is from the wiki about the start of the fire, and sounds like a scene out of a show. Greater Than the Fire began as a small flame after the lions performed on the southwest side wall of the tent, while the Great Wallendas were performing. Circus-bound leader Merle Evans was said to have been the first to spot the flames, and immediately directed the band to play "The Stars and Stripes Forever," the tune that traditionally signaled distress to all circus personnel. Ringmaster Fred Bradner urged the audience not to panic and to leave in an orderly fashion. But the power failed and he could not be heard. Bradner and the ushers unsuccessfully tried to maintain some order as the panicked crowd tried to flee the Big Top. The tsunami in Thailand in 2004, BP oil spill, the bombing of Black Wall Street, the Great Fire of Rome, with as much historical accuracy as possible, and the aftermath too. Or they could just make a high-budget, book-accurate new version of Quo Vadis. That would work too. The Donner Party. I just read a fantastic book, The Indifferent Stars Above and Their Winter in the Mountains, was one of the most harrowing, crazy fucking things I've ever read about. The Spanish flu in 1918. The Great Storm that hit Galveston in 1900. Incredible damage. Approximately 6,000–12,000 people died. It remains America's worst natural disaster. Lots of personal accounts to go on to. The Aberfan disaster, 1966. Tiananmen Square massacre. The Great Molasses Flood. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/great_molasses_flood. Seriously. 21 people died. Emu War. The Maguindanao Massacre. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Maguindanao_massacre. A convoy of 6 vehicles carrying at least 34 journalists, lawyers, and relatives of the vice mayor of the town Datuan Say, was stopped by 100 armed men, who abducted and later killed most or all of its members. There is evidence that at least 5 of the female victims, 4 of them journalists, were raped before being killed, while practically all of the women had been shot in their genitals and beheaded. All of them were buried, including the vehicles. Not really the kind of disaster you're talking about, but all the shit going on in Enron leading up to it imploding. Hurricane Katrina. The 1992 LA riots. It could be awesome. Keeping with the theme of radiation, I would like to see a season about the aftermath of the Hiroshima bomb, Mount St. Helens eruption, Fukushima. Hindenburg would be awesome, but I doubt it would make a full 5-hour mini-series. But awesome nonetheless. I would love to see something on the Spanish flu pandemic. Over 50 million people dead in the span of a year, with some guesses up to 100 million. 50% of all people in the entire world coming down with the flu at some point in that time. Most deaths occurring to those between 18 and 40. The symptom cryonesis, skin turning black due to lack of oxygen, making people think it is a new Black Death as their own immune system was destroying their lungs, causing ARDS the same way that mustard gas was to soldiers on the front. One expert even saying that it might cause the end of civilization. And yet after a few years people just forgot. That shit is whack, man. Just the fact that places like Philadelphia became ghost towns overnight and lost something like 7,000 people a week for 3 weeks in a row. I want to see something on this man. The 100-year anniversary of the month with the most deaths happened last October, and yet I have only seen a resurgence of historical papers and a single PBS special that only used it as reference. Just the image of bodies stacking up in morgues to the point where they are stacked to the ceiling. And you still have to step over some must be interesting to someone other than me. Please. I've been doing full-time research on this lately and I need someone to agree with me that this is interesting beyond the simple historic sense. Pompeii. I don't know if this really counts as a disaster, but the great stock market crash of 1929 leading to the Depression. This one as it happened close to where I live. https en.wiki/n/fireworks_disaster. Game of Thrones Season 8. The Haiti Earthquake 2010. The Columbia disaster. Engineers were begging management to seek access to surveillance resources to check the status of the damaged wing after reviewing the launch. Even after the disaster, very smart people denied that the foam could have done it until enough prodding made them rig up a simulation to test it and blam. The space shuttle was designed to eventually have a catastrophic failure. It ended up having two, including Challenger, another story where an engineer knew it would blow up. And it did. And sadly it killed 14 astronauts in the process. The eruption of Krakatoa. The Brumadinho Dam disaster. https://en.wikipediaorg/wiki/Brumadinho_dam_disaster MH370. Although it would be hard to write as that mystery is still ongoing. Pretty crazy a plane can disappear with today's technology and we still only have theories as to what happened. The world oceans are that large, I guess. Either the Loma Prieta or Northridge earthquakes. The Johnstown flood. Man, I would really love to learn more about Redacted. The Chicago fire. Tenerife. Not making light of the tragedy by any means, but a well-written mini-series on that would be fascinating. The Ayatollah Pass incident. Flint water crisis. Literally could have episodes that depict the struggle they're going through to this day. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.